What do you guys make of Rohit Sharma's form?
Troubling for India, of course, for Mumbai Indians as well. But we're always Dil ki. What was that? दिल से एक ही आवाज आती है इंडिया
आवाज तो आती है
but अब
but I think this is again a classic case of, let's say, what we're seeing with Mumbai is that is exactly the same that we see with CSK as well. Last year again, this time around Dhoni is giving you those sixes and all. Last year the sixes were far and few between. But they're okay, let's say, with 10 players and a captain, they're okay with that mentality.
No,
and they were fine with
Mumbai.
That was CSK. But with Mumbai also, and out of form and off color Rohit Sharma, they are fine. I think they need him as a leader as well, and they're fine as a franchise.
I'm not talking from Mumbai's perspective. Obviously, Mumbai is happy to have Rohit.
Yeah.
I'm saying in general,
Just Rohit
Sharma. No, because see, again, as I'm saying, he's been fantastic in Test cricket,
yes.
right? But in white ball cricket, his form's been very patchy for India as well.
Yeah.
And now all of us were hoping that it's the World Cup year. He's your captain. He needs to be in good form. We keep talking about, we were all worried when Virat Kohli dropped his form. We were all worried when KL Rahul dropped his form, right? And just in the same breath, he is your top batter, right? Alongside the two that I mentioned. Him dropping form, I don't know, from India's perspective, it's going to be a bit of a worry. The problem is, and I mean, I want him to be back in form. The problem for him is, I don't think T20 cricket allows you to get back into form, because especially if you're playing in such pitches, and we're talking about the approach that Mumbai is going to have, attack, and if he wants that approach, he has to set that benchmark as well, right? So he has to continue playing. Now, if you're not in great form, then it's a very catch-22 sort of a situation. When you're not in form, you want to spend some time, but the format and where you are is not going to allow you to do that. So that's not working for him. I mean, I don't know. All I can hope is that after this he gets to Test cricket, which has been his strongest suit. Now, surprising, I'm saying that, knowing that majority of his career we used to keep saying no. Yeah. White ball is his deal, and Test cricket maybe not. He's like completely done a 360-degree turn, where now he's emerged as your best Test batsman. Maybe Akshar Patel may have a thing or two to say about it, but yeah, alongside him, I mean, overall, he's your best. But his white ball form has taken a dip. But I mean, so because I'm looking at it from the World Cup point of view, I'm guessing, okay, maybe gets back to Test cricket, gets some run, and then from there on, there's no T20. It's one-day cricket, and that probably gives him that luxury of taking his time and then catching up on that strike rate later. That's the format that allows you to do that. And so then that helps him get back into form, because every other player you can move him in and out. You can't do that with the captain, right? He has to be there. He has to open, and so his form is going to be crucial. Harshit points out that Mumbai Indians probably can afford an out of form Rohit Sharma and still be okay with it. Maybe the Indian team can't. So that needs to be looked at. So, but I'm worried personally. Yeah,
the way I see it is, the way Rohit's game has evolved, I think at this point in time, the age that he is at, where he is at in his career, T20 cricket or especially IPL is the wrong place, like you said, for him to get back into rhythm. It's too fast paced and it quickly moves on, and I don't think that's a comfortable place for you to get back into form. We've seen that with a few other players as well. And I think right now, red ball cricket is much more suited to Rohit Sharma's game.
He has to play white ball, no? It's the
he has to, but that's what we're seeing right now.
I honestly am not too concerned.
No,
because he's never been that one player central to MI ever. Not as a batsman. No. I'm telling you why. But that is why I think we're mixing formats. I understand, obviously, we'll judge on what cricket we're seeing. But he was in phenomenal form in Tests, and even in ODIs, he didn't look too bad. He was in T20s mostly, he was struggling. Because again, same problems that he was having in the IPL were translating to the international arena. Going for quick starts, either not getting it or really getting out quickly. So I'm fine as far as his and we've seen sometimes what happens.
I'm talking only from India.
Yeah, I'm saying no. I'm getting to the next point is that sometimes we've seen players who struggle in the IPL generally tend to do very well in the international format. Again, last year Ishan Kishan torrid IPL. But the few games he played afterwards...
he struggled for India also.
No, in the South Africa series he was pretty good.
But after that
he got dropped also. I mean, it's not entirely fair on the guy. He did get dropped in between.
No, not a good example.
Okay, I'll give you a better one. Ravi Bishnoi had a torrid IPL last year, but the few games he was playing improved considerably. Form came back, and then he was also somehow dropped. Then he was also somehow dropped. See, Rohit can't be dropped.
They start well, but they all.
But that's not the player's fault, you know. No, I know it's not going to get dropped.
No, the example may be right, but I get his point. What he's trying to say is that IPL is not necessarily a yardstick to measure how you do in international, which I completely agree with. In fact, to be fair, and just to take that point forward, to be fair, Rohit has been very cold in the IPL for some seasons now. Yet he's been very good in international cricket on that occasion. So his IPL is, that young Rohit Sharma would set the IPL on fire. But the last few years, even when they were winning titles, he wasn't really their number one batsman. I agree with that. But as I said, I'm not too bothered about what's happening in Mumbai. It's just, क्योंकि
एक ही नाम सुनाई देता है.
So India, I really want to.
I'm also coming from that space only कि आवाज वही एक ही है, but I'm not too worried about him personally, because one thing I know, he's had that good knock against Delhi. I would just, let's say from an India point, I'm saying if he ends the IPL, let's say with a couple of good innings, that'll be far more assuring for me. But even then, going into let's say the World Cup, it's a World Cup here, I'm not too worried because different formats we're talking about. There again, I think in the chat was previously mentioned that right now you're expected to deliver, get off the blocks quickly, which is why you see that intent from him. Also, every time that he gets dismissed, sometimes a rash shot, stepping out, dancing down the track, you see all of that happen. In ODI, he may not necessarily have to do all of that. So he will have the time to spend on the crease as well, and it's different formats, and sometimes change in setting is exactly what you need. So little reason.
Raju is on the subject of Rohit Sharma says, to be honest, Rohit is the weakest link in Mumbai Indians this year, but that's an opinion. He may not be entirely wrong.
Apart from batting, everyone struggles once in a while, but if you're the captain, how are you the weakest link?
Exactly.
Karthik, what do you make of it?
I agree with him.
What's he saying?
He's saying Rohit isn't out of form, but short of runs.
How do you differentiate between them?
See, because out of form would show that I think, to draw parallel what Virat was doing last year in the IPL, you could tell he was out of form. He wasn't able to play the basics, more often than not getting out to balls which he shouldn't have been getting out to, playing some very questionable shots. His mind looked off. And he himself admitted that he needed that mental reset. With Rohit, it's like when he's playing shots. Last year IPL also, he'd get starts. It just wasn't going beyond a 20, 30 to 60, 70. But when he was out there in the middle, he was looking fine.
No, but there are examples in this IPL, I think, who are players out of form. KL Rahul's out of form. That you can say. Deepak Huda's out of form. Both of these guys aren't short of runs. We're talking about Indian players, regulars.
They are short of runs.
No, they are first out of form. And then, of course, because they're out of form, they're short of runs. But Karthik is saying two different things.
So I'm just saying again, there was a time in international cricket, in white ball especially, that those 3 years that were discussed about Virat Kohli. There were times that he was looking good, but then was unlucky, would get out at a certain point. But did we consider him out of form at the time, or did we say no, he's not out of form, or he's just short of runs? So I don't know. Did we?
I think colloquially, I think we all had the tendency to say out of form much more than short of runs. But yeah, there is a difference. There is a difference.
There is.
I think, yeah.
So were we as generous to Virat at the time? I don't know. Were we?
I don't think so.
We weren't, but then his slump also lasted 3 years.
Yeah. I don't know. Though again, in Rohit's case, the white ball slump has been there for some time, especially T20 cricket has been there for a long time. But at the same time, Test cricket has been phenomenal, the best, I guess, for India. Okay, continuing on that subject, that seems to be the hottest topic. Too many questions coming on that. Shubham Garg says Rohit failed in Australia ODI series. Any problem of reflexes slowing down? Rohit relies a lot on reflexes, which is true. He's struggling against 140 plus in international also. I'm not sure with pace he's struggling. I know he's a hand-eye coordination kind of a player, and his reflexes will slow down with age. But I don't think he's at that kind of a problem. I don't see that much of a slump. Like let's take for example what happened with Virender Sehwag. That was like an instant dip I don't see that happening, because if that reflexes was completely the issue, Test cricket, he would have struggled too, where you sometimes have to face genuinely quick bowling, and reflexes become even more important because the red ball does much more than the white one. So I don't think that's a thing. I just feel that he's taken it upon himself to be the aggressor, and when you're not really getting a lot of runs, being the aggressor is not helping you. I think that's the issue here. And not really reflexes. It will happen, and I know that age is catching up. Maybe a year, 2 year is what he plays, but I don't think it's that much of an issue now. Otherwise, he'd be struggling in all formats, at least. Yeah. Somebody else take this.
Ajit Giri, and on the same topic, says that why can't Rohit implement the MI batting style in the Indian team? To be fair, he was doing that.
Yeah.
He was getting starts.
No, he was
intent.
Intent was
yes.
there. In fact, to the contrary, we used to keep saying that, listen, leave the intent for others, because Rohit, we know, can actually catch up on that strike rate later. Even if he takes 10-15 balls more, he can reach a 150-160 strike rate later, but that's the kind of ability he has. Having said that one game which is like an anomaly, otherwise he was really always going hard at it, maybe getting runs sometime, maybe not, was that game that India lost in Adelaide, the semi-final over T20. I don't know how many exactly deliveries he played. He really struggled to get off the mark. There was that was painful to watch. It was very unusual for Rohit. So in Rohit's case, either he'll time it so sweetly and get you runs very quickly, or get out early. Seldom do you see him trying to get runs quickly and yet not be able to do that. But that was that one-off game. But as I said, that was a rare event that happened. Okay, Gargi, take this one.
Okay. AJ Scon is saying even test form will fade. I think we're talking about Rohit. Top timer now with fitness. Age has become slow and super inconsistent since 2021. England, right?
Yeah.
Even tests since 2021 miss almost all.
He missed a few because of injury.
Yes.
But then again, let's not forget what he did in Nagpur. And he looked
Very
solid in that test series as well. Didn't get a lot of runs, but when it mattered, he did get you those runs. And he was he was your match winner in that Nagpur test. So, test cricket, in fact, contrary to what we believed over all these years, Rohit Sharma has been one of your better batters in test cricket, especially playing in India.
Yep. True. Anyone else wants to add?
I think also the knock that came at Nagpur, it was in such difficult conditions, it's very dry wicket, very hard to bat on, and Rohit Sharma batted as if the conditions meant nothing. He made batting look so easy. I think that's what Rohit Sharma does. When it's high time for you to step up, when it comes to India, Rohit Sharma does step up.